Good morning, MEC Mabuyakulu, dignitaries and distinguished participants. I regret I'm not able to attend in person today, but thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about National Government's vision and our work on the economy. This conference on industrial hubs in Kwazulu-Natal is timely and on a topic that is at the heart of our work: how to deepen the industrialization of the economy. I have taken note, therefore, of the investment opportunities that the province has identified in agro-processing, the auto component sector, clothing and textiles, electronics, leather processing, fresh produce processing, and renewable energy component manufacturing. On the 12th of February this year, the President addressed the nation and set out our plans and priorities for the period ahead. He outlined to the country a 9-point plan on the economy that addresses two key developments. On the one hand, slower global economic growth, and on the other hand, weaknesses in our domestic economic growth. GDP growth in South Africa is currently at 1.3%. Our principal focus is to address the tough challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment, to create a better life for all South Africans. Faster and more inclusive growth can help us to achieve this. There are some positive signs, but also many headwinds that we need to take account of. The participants in this conference will perhaps need a few key numbers to share. Last month, Statistics South Africa released the latest jobs numbers. It showed that in KwaZulu-Natal there are currently about 2.5 million people employed. Government employs just over 500,000 people and is the single biggest employer in the province, followed by the trade, manufacturing and construction sectors. For the country as a whole, the latest data shows that the economy created 203,000 jobs in the last quarter of 2014. As a whole, we now have 15.3 million people employed, the highest yet in our economic history. The number of unemployed dropped by 242,000 and the number of discouraged job seekers declined. Now that's the story for the last quarter of last year. But if we take the 12 months as a whole, jobs grew by about 143,000. And most of that growth, if you take out seasonal factors, came from construction, underlying the importance of our infrastructure program to the economy. Conference goers may recall that Cabinet adopted the new growth path in October 2010, which is the economic strategy underlying the National Development Plan. Since that date, about 1.7 million new jobs have been created, and the average length of employment of workers has risen. These are positive signs for our battle against unemployment, but we must not be complacent because many South Africans are still unemployed. We need to increase the rate of job creation if we are to meet the aspirations of our people, especially young South Africans. We need to rebalance the sources of jobs growth to reduce the reliance on seasonal factors. We need the new growth path to realize the National Development Plan vision. Colleagues and members of the constituencies represented at this conference, the broad trend line of investment in the past 4 years has been positive, recovering from the dramatic loss of investment during the global economic crisis. A number of surveys of investment from outsiders all tell the same story. Africa is successful in attracting foreign direct investment, and South Africa in turn attracts the largest share of such investment. For example, the latest report from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development says that South Africa attracted 79 billion rand in foreign direct investment in 2013, 110% more than the previous year. We remain the largest destination for foreign direct investment projects on the continent, with compound annual growth of more than 16% a year since 2007, and our foreign direct investment projects exceed those of the whole of North Africa. Our efforts to support private sector investment are significant, and the efforts by the KwaZulu provincial government, the private sector, and workers and communities can strengthen these further. That's why this conference is so important. The Industrial Development Corporation is ramping up its industrial funding, committing an average of 12 billion rand a year over the past 5 years, every year, and helping to create or strengthen new industries such as green energy and filmmaking, as well as investing in established industries ranging from textiles to agro-processing. Every 1 billion rand IDC investment on average attracts 2 billion rand from other investors, crowding in private investment to get the economy moving. Over the past 20 years, the IDC invested more than 21 billion rand in 2013 real terms in KwaZulu-Natal to support manufacturing. And this has secured more than 54,000 jobs. I believe the IDC can do more in the province. The Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission, the PICC, has really focused on infrastructure, encouraging companies to commit new investment, and we can attract so much more if we stabilize our energy supply. For this reason, we are now busy with the continent's largest new energy build program. In Lephalale in Limpopo, for example, we are building the world's 5th largest coal-fired power station, and the first of 6 units in that power station is being tested now, and we expect within a few months it will put close to 800 megawatts of energy onto the grid. That's roughly equivalent to the entire domestic or household consumption of eThekwini, or just less than the total installed capacity of both Namibia and Botswana together. Now, I cite this just to show how extensive our energy program is. The weaker global growth underlined the need for greater value addition in our domestic markets, more reliance on domestic and, yes, regional sources of demand, and the urgency of addressing industrial relation tensions and conflicts. Of course, we are not alone in confronting these challenges. Indeed, growth rates as a whole have slowed across the world, and in BRICS, both Brazil and Russia now have growth rates below that of South Africa. A key market for our goods, the European Union, is trapped in low growth of less than 1%. Yet given the scale of our own needs as a country, we need to do more on growth and on jobs. The 9-point plan that the President outlined during the State of the Nation address is our response to the weakening global and domestic economy. It places more focus on adding local value to our mineral resources, expanding the agro-processing sector, growing the oceans economy, that's very important for KwaZulu-Natal, expanding investment, promoting infrastructure development, and importantly, reducing workplace conflict. We are now implementing the largest infrastructure program in the country's history, the largest on the African continent. Employment numbers are sharply up on our infrastructure program. Local manufacturing of buses, taxis, rail wagons, and locomotives are the backbone of the program. Yes, there are challenges that we face as we roll out this program, but there is also real, tangible progress. For example, 3 weeks ago, I visited the town of Pofadder in the Northern Cape to open a new solar power plant, Katru, developed in partnership between a foreign investor and our own Industrial Development Corporation. That plant is ready to bring 100 megawatts of solar energy onto the grid, and a similar size Eskom wind farm was opened recently in Matsikama in the Western Cape. Together, these 2 power plants will bring 200 megawatts to the grid, and that's equivalent roughly to the annual household energy consumption of Newcastle, Grahamstown, Stellenbosch, Knysna and Mossel Bay combined, or more than the entire energy generating installed capacity of Lesotho and Swaziland combined. On the same trip, I visited a hydro energy scheme on the Orange River that is now generating energy onto the grid. Perhaps some of the energy you're using in the conference today has come from the solar and hydro plants. Since the start of the green energy program, we've generated more than 1,800 megawatts of energy from the sun, the wind, and from water, more than the entire installed energy capacity of many developing countries. That is real progress, green energy, real development. Many investors here today will know that load shedding is damaging to the economy and to the lives of South Africans. Imagine having load shedding not for 2 hours a day, but 24 hours a day. Not for 2 weeks a year, but every week for the whole year. Regrettably, many South African families experience exactly that because they have no access to electricity. But we are changing that. I recently shared with Parliament the story of a local woman, Ms. Boniwe Gabela, a resident of Jadu Place, which is a settlement near eThekwini. She's an unemployed mother of 2 children. In July last year, her residence was connected to the grid. She said that this changed her life. She used to buy paraffin, a candle and matches for 20 Rand a day. Now she pays less than 5 Rand a day for electricity because she qualifies for free basic electricity. It's changed her life dramatically. Her story is not unique. During 2014, roughly 100,000 more women, men and children in Kwazulu-Natal were able to access electricity. Whenever you drive through the province, you'll see many households that have access to hot water through the solar water scheme. Energy transforms lives, and therefore it is so urgent to expand our capacity to generate electricity for all South Africans. In the year ahead, we expect a substantial quantity of green energy to come onto the grid, with 13 more solar, wind or hydro plants that will be completed. Now that's a story of energy, but infrastructure goes beyond that. Cities are being transformed today through the bus rapid transport systems that allow those without cars the same convenience to move around their city, but quicker and cheaper. 8 cities are building new bus lanes for this BRT system, and many thousands of passengers in Johannesburg, Tshwane and Cape Town are using the system. We look forward to eThekwini joining these metros in rolling out the BRT system. Major new water programs will bring water for many small farmers, and it allows small businesses to obtain the reliable supply of water to take their businesses forward. There are 12 large infrastructure projects in the water sector. But I really want to share with many of the industrialists today the importance of infrastructure for our industrialization program. In the past 12 months, we opened many factories directly connected to the supply of components or rolling stock used in infrastructure. I hope that as a result of your provincial initiative, I will have many more examples from KwaZulu-Natal that I will be able to point to by next year. Examples such as the taxi production capacity that Toyota built in eThekwini as part of our efforts to localize production of goods that we use in the domestic economy. Since January last year, we built more than 14,000 taxis here in South Africa, mainly in KZN. 2 years ago, we imported buses for municipalities from Brazil. Since April last year alone, we're now producing 151 buses in South Africa, bringing jobs and development to the local economy. As more of these rapid bus transport systems are rolled out, we want them to use locally manufactured buses, boosting the South African economy. In the year ahead, we'll be spending 19 billion Rand in improving our road transport system, completing port expansions in eThekwini and Ngqura, and also construction of major rail projects. Social infrastructure will focus mainly on hospitals, clinics and universities, and of course school builds, while industrial infrastructure will include biofuels and gas. The focus that the President placed during the State of the Nation address on broadband rollout underlines how important those fiber optic cables will be to build a modern, integrated, high-tech and innovation-led economy. Colleagues and conference goers, while there are successes with infrastructure rollout, there are challenges that we're now addressing to achieve the toughest stretch targets that the ruling party has set for the ANC-led government in this administration. It means doing things differently, more focus on maintenance, better implementation, stronger state capacity, action against cartels, and against those who steal cables from our public infrastructure program. In the next 4 years, we will make the changes to our systems to allow the already large infrastructure program to reach more communities and assist with more investment. Finally, our work can only achieve results with partnerships. One of the most important partnerships is between business and organized labor. The high level of industrial action shows us the pressing, urgent need to address the underlying causes of the workplace conflict and build a greater consensus on growing the economy and distributing the wealth that we create in a fair and equitable manner. The Deputy President of the Republic is leading an engagement with labor and business leaders to address precisely this. We have developed a common framework between the social partners in the economy, and we are now working through the practical implications of this so that we can develop broader accords that will stabilize industrial relations, that will promote fairness and harness our joint efforts to build a productive and efficient economy. We will now meet every 6 weeks to evaluate progress in the discussions between the various task teams of the representatives. I believe that the business and labor constituencies in KwaZulu-Natal can assist our process by deeper dialogue among yourselves, including on making the industrial hubs a success and building solid partnerships at the workplace. I wish your conference a successful conclusion today. MEC Mabuyakulu, there is much work to be done to achieve the vision that national and provincial government has set for the next 4 years. Good luck with your efforts. Good luck with the partnership that you're forging. Good luck with deepening industrialization in KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you.